Hey, you're telling me you want a contract on a human? The gruff voice of Commander Rax cut through the low hum of the starport's rec room. His eyes, as hardened as the rusted hull of an ancient freighter, fixed on the newcomer with a mix of incredulity and veiled warning. Exactly that, replied the eager recruit, Joran, his tone betraying equal parts ambition and uncertainty. The client says it's a one-off, no strings attached. Rax snorted, leaning back as if the very notion was a cosmic joke. You know our code, never cross that line. We don't spill human blood. Ever since the Nebula uprisings, that's been non-negotiable. Joran frowned, struggling to reconcile his ambition with the gravity of Rax's words. But why? I mean, humans are hardly invincible. They bleed, they fall. Isn't that just another target? A weary smile crept over Rax's face, a smile that carried the weight of countless missions and lost comrades. I remember when the Dominion of Vecla ruled with an iron fist. They thought humans were nothing more than expendable cogs, weak and malleable. But the humans, they were the wild cards of the galaxy. They refused to be broken. And so began the tale, legend etched in the scars of battle and whispered in the shadowed corridors of the underworld. It was decades ago when the oppressive Vecla Dominion first descended upon the fragile worlds of humanity. Under the banner of order, they enforced a brutal system. Every colony, every settlement was regimented and subdued. The Dominion believed that crushing the human spirit was as simple as silencing a heartbeat, Rax intoned, his voice low and resonant. They didn't understand that a heartbeat, once ignited by hope and defiance, can become a rallying cry. On a bleak world called Terran Prime, a planet where gravity pressed heavy and the skies burned with the residue of ancient starfire, humanity's resistance first sparked. The Dominion's enforcers marched in, their ships blotting out the sun, expecting submission. Instead, what they found was a people with a stubborn will and an uncanny ability to adapt. Imagine this, Rax continued, swirling the dregs of a bitter, synthesized brew in his glass. The Dominion unleashed legions of mechanized troopers, expecting a swift conquest. But the humans, in their underground enclaves, were already learning to fight back. They hacked the Dominion systems, repurposed stolen tech, and formed networks that spanned countless star systems. Every time the enforcers came calling, they met resistance, a guerrilla strike here, a sabotage there. It wasn't long before the Dominion realized they'd underestimated an entire species. Joran's eyes widened. So they actually won. Rax's gaze hardened. They didn't win in the conventional sense. They never sought total annihilation of their oppressors. Instead, they shattered the illusion of invincibility. One by one, the Dominion's outposts fell silent. A network of rebels emerged, united by a shared history of suffering and a fierce desire for freedom. And every time one of us was tempted to take a contract on a human, we'd remember what happened when those lines were crossed. The room grew quiet as memories of those brutal times echoed between them. Rax's voice softened as he recounted the aftermath of the greatest rebellion, a time when the human spirit turned the tide of war. When the Dominion's armadas advanced, confident in their superior firepower, the humans staged a counter-offensive that lit up the void like a supernova. Their strikes were surgical, their tactics unpredictable. They used their knowledge of the terrain, their intrinsic bond with their home worlds, to outmaneuver fleets that had once seemed unstoppable. In one decisive battle near the luminous nebula, the rebels disabled an entire battalion with nothing more than stealth and a few well-placed EMP charges. Joran absorbed every word. So it wasn't just about survival, it was about reclaiming dignity. Exactly, Rax said, leaning forward with a spark in his eye. That's why we never take a contract that seeks to erase humanity. It's not about weakness, it's about respect. Humans, for all their imperfections, embody a resilience that no amount of fear or oppression can smother. Every time one of us has even flirted with the idea, history has shown us that the repercussions are catastrophic. raising the legacy of those who dared to dream.